What's up, family? Welcome back to another one. It is your girl, Desiree D. Ray Y, spiritual healing coach. And today we got to talk about trust. I've been building my trust muscle. I've been strengthening up my trust in self, my trust in God, my trust in others, my trust in life. And it's been a journey. It has been a journey. But what I know and realize is that the more I trust, the more I lean into that energy, the more I have faith in knowing that everything is working out, the more I feel empowered, the more I feel like there's a rhyme and a reason to every aspect of my life. Like everything just makes sense with trust. Without trust, though, without trusting yourself, without trusting the divine, without trusting life, without trusting others, to me, it just feels like we are wandering through life, kind of aimlessly, not knowing and understanding what is what. Okay. And so today, I just want to talk about some things that I am doing to build my trust muscle. And the first thing that I want to say is that having trust, whether it is in yourself, in a relationship, in God, in life, it takes work, right? It's not one of those things to where it's just like instantly I just have the ultimate trust for you. I just know that you are going to do everything right by me and things are just going to be perfect, right? That's not really how life works because we've all experienced such trauma, heartbreak, disappointment. And sometimes these things didn't make sense, right? Sometimes we don't know why we experience what we experience. And so having trust feels difficult and challenging. And so the last few weeks, I've been focusing on trust, what that is, why that's important, how do I do it, specific techniques that are helping me. So if y'all know that y'all are needing some deeper trust, trust in yourself, trust in God, trust in life, trust in others, put a yes in the chat because we're going to dive into some spiritual revelations that I've had about it so far. Okay. Like I said, we go through life and we have all of these experiences, some highs, some lows, some, just a lot. And trust is the hardest when we are facing challenges. Trust is the hardest when we are facing adversity, right? When everything is working out beautiful and well in our lives, we don't even have to think about trust, right? It's not even a thing. It's just, you just live in life. But what about when there's some stagnation, when there's some lack of flow, when there's challenges, when things don't seem to be unfolding in the way that you would desire? What do you do then? And what I've realized so far is that when we have trust in those moments, we are being strengthened mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And one of the number one things that we have to have in order for us to have cultivate a deep level of trust is that we have to have a strong mind and an open heart. Strong mind and an open heart. When our mind is strong in this life, on this journey, we don't fall victim to the circumstances that we find ourselves in. When our mind is strong, we don't allow negativity, low vibrational thoughts, or what the good church folks say, the enemy. We don't allow these things to take hold of our mind and keep us captive and stop us from seeing the possibilities that our situation or circumstance is actually offering us. Every experience that we are ever in, no matter how challenging, is offering us something. It's giving us something. It's a blessing in disguise. But when we don't have a strong mind that is rooted in trust, that is rooted in faith and knowing, honey, challenges come and we see them just as they are. We don't have the ability to look beyond it. Okay. So, strong mind, open heart, very key things when it comes down to trust. We're going to get deeper into that. I want to hear from y'all though. What does trust mean to y'all? If you could just put a word, if you can put a quick few words in the comments, what does trust mean to y'all? What does trust mean to y'all? I want to hear from y'all. What I'm discovering is that trust to me is standing firm on something, no matter what it is, right? Trust to me is being steadfast, right? Trust to me is having a solid foundation, right? Think about this. Have y'all ever done this? I used to love this, right? Whenever we would do like volleyball team building things, right? I always played volleyball, so I was always a part of a team. And one of the biggest things when it comes down to having a successful team is you have to have trust, right? It's not as deep as trusting God, but it's still a thing, because when you want to be successful, when you want to win games, you got to trust the people that are playing beside you. You have to trust that they are going to play their part. And if you've ever watched a volleyball game, ever played volleyball, you know when there's some mistrust on the team, right? Let's say there is girls on the back row and they're about to pass the ball. Let's say somebody, the other team just served, right? You know when there's mistrust if a ball just drops in between two girls. I mean, I didn't trust that you was going to get it. You didn't trust that I was going to get it. Hell, I didn't trust myself to get it. And so we just, those moments are so funny in volleyball because it's so obvious when there's a lack of trust and camaraderie on the team. But something else I think about when I think about trust, y'all seen the trust fall. We've done that before. Y'all have done that before in teams or maybe even in your family, where a person stands in front of another person and they say, okay, just fall back. Trust that I'm going to catch you. And you got to literally fall back and they catch you. The trust fall. But one of the things that I realized about trust is that it takes and it requires a solid foundation. Like, you're not going to trust somebody that's behind you if they don't feel solid, if they don't feel firm, if they don't feel like they have the strength to carry you or to catch you. And so that's the thing about trust to me, is that it has to be built on something solid. It has to be built on something that is firm. It has to be built on, you know what I was thinking? Spirit was like, yesterday, as I was kind of writing these things down, there's a root word in trust and truth. The root word between trust and truth is true. TRU, right? TRUTH, TRUST, TRUE, true. If something is true, that means it is solid, it is firm, it is steadfast, right? That's what it is. If something is true, it is faithful and it is honest. And the reality is that we can't have trust if we aren't connected to the truth. And when Spirit gave me that last night, I was just like, wow. So, what are the truths that I need to explore? What are the truths that I need to make real in my life so that my faith muscle, or so that my trust muscle is stronger and is unwavering? Okay. And so we can commit, right? Because faith, trust is also about commitment, right? If you're going to trust something, this means you're standing on the truth of a thing and you're committed to that thing. You're steadfast, you're unwavering, you're aligned, right? What Spirit was giving me was that the number one truth that we all can stand firm on is the fact that God is love. You know, one of the reasons why I feel like people have struggled with trust in the divine, trust in themselves, trust in life, trust in others, is the religious programming that we've experienced, right? The wrath of God, the anger of God, the all of these different things. And it makes us feel that this is just how religious programming has worked, even for people who are on the spiritual path, right? Even for people who are exploring spirituality, for a lot of us, there's still this lingering idea that if we've made a mistake or if we fall from the grace of God, then we can't trust in the divine, right? We can't trust in that power because we've been programmed with the idea that when we mess up, that grace is taken from us. So this is something that on the spiritual path that we need to explore, and we need to lean into the truth that is unwavering, that God is love. The divine is love. Your higher self is made of love, right? That's a truth that I'm standing on. Before I keep going, let me say hey to all of y'all. Hey girl, hey to all of my sacred sisters. I see y'all out there. I see the intuitive mediator. Hey sis, I see my girl Bree, Peach Butter, Shakila, Jenny, Tanika, Emma, all my good sisters, all my sacred sisters. Hey to all of y'all. Hey Cece, I see y'all. Hey Ren, hey girl. Who else is a new name? Jael. Jael Hills. Jael, guess what? Our daughter, one of our daughters' middle name is Jael. So hey to you, and peace and power to that beautiful name that you have. Love that. And then peace to all the brothers in here. Peace, Dream, my love. Hey, Caprell. Peace to y'all. Make sure that y'all like this video, because this what we're talking about today is for everybody. You know, when we don't have trust, it is so easy to be moved in this world. It is like, just think about the fact that there's inflation and there's a presidential race and there's war. I mean, there's so much chaos that is always ensuing around us, that the thing that keeps us grounded, the thing that keeps us going is trust. That's trust is what we hold on to when life starts to get shaky, right? And so the number one truth that I've been holding on to that is fortifying my trust is this knowing that God is love. Now, the reason why this is so important is because we have to know that we are one with God, that God dwells inside of us, literally, that we are the essence of God dwells inside of us. So if we know that God is love, that means we are love, you are love. And so one of the ways that we build trust is to lean deeper into love. It's like asking yourself, whenever life is shaky and you feel like you are being challenged and things like that, asking yourself, are you feeling the love of yourself? Are you feeling the love of God present in your life? Or do you feel abandoned? Do you feel unheard? Do you feel on an island by yourself figuring this whole thing out? You know what I realized for myself is that the more I lean into my own self-love, the more I feel the love of that omnipresent, omnipotent energy. The more I take care of me, the more in tune and aligned I feel with the Most High. The more I trust me, the more I can trust God, because God dwells inside of me. That's how that works. So how do we lean deeper into love, right? How do we lean deeper into love? Deeper, deeper, deeper. So good. One, we want to make sure that our heart is light. We want to make sure that our heart is light. And there's this Bible verse. I'm not going to get into that right now. I'll wait for the next one. There are three things that came into my sphere that I've been practicing to support me in leaning deeper into love. The first thing is we have to be compassionate to those that are suffering. If you want to have a heart that is light, practice compassion. If you want to dive deeper into trust, practice compassion. Compassion for those that are suffering really develops and strengthens your heart, your frequency. Now, here's a good one. Y'all ever be in a car driving down the street? Let's say you see a white person that is homeless. A lot of times when Black folks, I've seen this too many times, a lot of times when Black folks see a white person that is homeless, instead of them having compassion, they ask themselves something like, wonder what he did to get there. Ain't no reason why a white man should be poor in this great American country. And instead of compassion, we are projecting a certain judgment. Like he must have really messed up in order to be in this position. Have y'all ever done that? I know I have. See somebody going through something and will tell yourself, oh, that could never be me. That's not a heart that is light, because the heart that is light is compassion and could see and could understand, right? Could understand how life be lifing and how people can end up in certain situations. And so when we cast judgment to those that are suffering, to those, think about a family member that had money. Think about a family member that had money or a friend that had money. In some way, somehow they lose their money. They lose their house. They lose their car. They lose whatever. And you have the thought of, I don't know what they did to F that up, right? How did they just blow all of their money? How did they just spend all of their money? How did they lose everything that they had? Judgment. And so when we are in a space like that, right? When we are in a space like that, and I know that y'all are not there often because y'all are compassionate people by nature. By nature, you are compassionate, right? But when we're in a space like that, we're not in love. And when we are not in love, we are not in trust. Because the one truth that we can trust is that God is love. And so if we are not in love, then we are not one with God. And when we're not one with God, it's hard to trust. It's hard to know and feel that everything is working out for you. It's because you don't feel that alignment. So Vash, the intuitive mediator, said alignment is trust. Alignment is trust. When you're not in alignment with the Most High, it's hard to trust. You don't feel it. You feel like you are by yourself, fending for yourself. You know what I mean? And like there's not angels, spirit teams, spirit guides, right? That are supporting, uplifting, and guiding you. So one of the ways that you create more trust as you are having your human experience, because the reality is that this is a human experience. We're all going to face trials and tribulations. That's just a part of it, right? When you know that you are living from a place of love, that love radiates in you, around you, right? And even in your challenges, even in your situations, that love is still present. That love is the one thing that you can trust. And in that, you start to see how God is just working in mysterious ways when you're having those moments. Have y'all ever had that happen before? I remember this was just, and this is kind of light, but it's still a real thing. Maybe this was 2 years ago. Dream and I had one of our cars on Turo, right? This is when Turo was a big deal. We had one of our cars on Turo, and we had rented it out to some guy, and it was time for the car to be returned. And we're waiting for the guy to get to us to return the car. He never shows up. Never shows up, never gets a phone call. So this guy basically just ran off with our car. And initially in that moment, I was like, you know how that could be. Like, wait, We don't have our car. We're running this process. We're doing all of these things. So initially I was in frustration with it. And it was crazy. The guy ended up getting into an accident in our car, right? He was drunk driving, drunk driving, ended up like side swiping something in our car, and the car ended up being totaled, right? Ended up being totaled. And at first, like I said, I was more anxious. I was more like, what the hell is going on? This is some bullshit, right? In my humanity. But actually, after a few moments of that frustration, I kind of calmed down and I was just like, okay, God, like whatever's meant to happen is going to happen. Everything's going to work out, whatever. At that time, in fact, I think we were pregnant with Kimmy. And because we use a midwife, we pay everything out of pocket. You know, everything is paid for cash. Ain't no insurance with this, right? But when that happened, our car ended up getting totaled out, and we ended up getting a check for that car being totaled out. That ended up being a great blessing in disguise because, first of all, the car was paid off. So we didn't have to worry about it was still quote unquote a loss, but it supported us in that moment while we were pregnant and having to pay out of pocket for these medical expenses because we were able to just pay it off and be done with it and not worry about it and still have cash left over from this car. So I say that to say what looks like a loss to your humanity could very well be gain through the eyes of the divine, through the eyes of this energy we call God. But it's only if you're willing to look from the lens of love and have that trust. And that's what I mean, right? I was grateful that the brother didn't die in the car because anything could have happened. I was grateful that he didn't hit somebody else and cause somebody else's life to be ruined through that experience. You know what I mean? That's looking through the lens of love. And as you look through the lens of love and live from a place of love, have your trust just expands because you're grounded in this one truth that love is all. God is love. And if you can lean into love, you can trust and have faith that everything is working out in your favor. Something else that came to me about being able to live in love and experience love, right? Is to be impartial to those who challenge you. Oh my God. You know, one of the things that hardens our hearts the most is when somebody criticizes, challenges, judges, when somebody, is not in agreement with how we think, feel, and view life. That's one of the easiest things that can trigger us. Whether it's your partner saying, I don't like that you did that. Whether it's your kid not living the way that you've raised them or the way that you thought that they should go, right? Whether it's you got a boss or a coworker, somebody that is frustrating as hell, they may be messy at the job, they may be whatever. If you could stay impartial, your heart will stay light, your heart will stay in love, and this will support you having a deep level of trust. And this level of trust makes you grounded in the fact that everything is working out in your favor. One of the easiest things that can take us out of a space of love is when we have to deal with somebody who is challenging how we think, how we feel, how we view life, and what we desire. So staying impartial when somebody is frustrating you, annoying you, okay? Because when we let somebody outside of us dictate how we're feeling, dictate how we're thinking, we're no longer in trust, we're no longer in love. Okay? And that one takes so much practice because it's so easy to blame somebody else for how we're feeling. It's so easy to be like, you making me feel like this. You're doing this to me. You're bothering me. You're taking me out of my vibration. It's so easy to do that. Okay? One of the other things that I found is expanding my heart and supporting me and living in love so that I can stand on the truth that God is love. And because God is love and I am love and God dwells inside of me, I have nothing to worry about in this life, is being happy for those who are successful and joyful. Like when I see somebody win, I'm celebrating with them. I am joyful for them. I am happy for them. This is a heart that is of love, you know? And when we are in that space, you can trust. You can trust, you can trust, you can trust that your win, that your growth, that your manifestation, that your healing is on its way to you. You can trust that, right? That's something that you can trust, okay? So, in order to build trust within ourselves, trust in the divine, trust in others, trust in life, you want to build up your ability to live in love. Okay. And those are just 3 ways that I've been doing: having compassion for those that are suffering. Okay. Being impartial to those who challenge me. And then having joy and gratitude in my heart for the people around me who I see are winning. Right. And I'm sure there's more that I can dive into, but those are the 3 that are standing out right now in my life personally. Right. Now, the second thing that I've been doing to build trust, and I just want to be very clear about why this is so very important. You know, trust in the divine is our anchor in humanity. You know, it's the thing that like keeps us going. If we didn't have no more trust, if we didn't trust that things were working out in our favor, why keep going? Why continue to be here? Why try? Why have y'all really thought about that? Like, why even keep trying at this thing? If you didn't trust that it was going to yield something beautiful, something powerful in your life. Trust is important. Without trust, it's like, what's our why? Why am I doing this? Why am I showing up on these videos? Why are you listening to the video? If you didn't trust that there was a gift, if you didn't trust that there was something that was going to be birthed from this, right? Trust is an anchor for your growth, your healing, your evolution. So something that I've been doing to build my trust, because it's a muscle. It is a muscle because, you know, you may have a season in your life, and we know seasons are real. Just as we can look outside and recognize that we are in the spring season right now, we have spring seasons within ourselves. It may be spring right now as far as the earth is happening, but a winter season in your heart and in your life. Let me know if y'all caught that. Let me know if y'all caught what I just said. Yes, it's spring season outside. The birds are chirping. The butterflies are out. The flowers are blooming. Y'all, so crazy. In our backyard, we saw 6 eggs. We don't know what type of eggs they are. They're in our backyard, though. There's 6 little white eggs in our backyard. We don't know what type of animal they are. We're interested to see what hatches from them. We went outside the other day. It was like, no lie, y'all, it was like 50 feathers in our backyard. 50, literally. And then there were like 3 hawk feathers in our backyard. So we was like, oh my God, a hawk and another bird must have been getting busy, right? That's spring season though. That's spring energy. The birds are out, and life is happening. Life, things are blooming and rebirthing and rejuvenating. That's what's happening in this season in the earth. But just because that's happening in the earth, inside of us, there may be a different season happening. You may be in a fall season, meaning you're letting things go, you're purging, you're releasing, you know what I mean? You may be in a winter season where you're being pruned, you're being shape shifted, you're in hibernation, you're having to be quiet, right? It may seem dark, it may seem like you are in a room by yourself and you're battling it out. Or you may be in alignment with spring and you're blooming and you're blossoming. It may be a summer season for you where you're networking and you're connecting with others and you're building relationships and you're putting yourself out there. Okay? Seasons happen. Seasons change. We got to know and understand that. And based off of the season that you're in, that will determine your level of trust. You know, when you're in a winter season, you need trust because that trust is what's going to keep you warm. That trust is the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay? Beautiful. I'm going to also go ahead and say this to y'all right now. As something that I want to do, because I've been focused on rebirth and renewal since last November, maybe. I don't know. I got to go back and look through the videos, but I've been on this rebirth and renewal process within myself. And there's so much that I've learned. There's so many things that I've healed and transformed inside of myself. So for the ladies, I have these new rebirth and renewal consultations that I'm doing. I think I'm going to take about maybe, I don't know, I haven't determined really, maybe 10 to 20 women to get a rebirth and renewal consultation. And what that is that we're just going to focus on who you are becoming, the decisions that you have to make, the work that you have to put in to become it. And it's a live one-on-one consultation. I should have had the link ready. I don't right now, but I will get that to you. If you are a woman and you know you are in a process where you feel like you're changing seasons, you're shifting seasons, you're moving into a new space and place, and you want to ground out that energy, get this consultation. Okay. I'm going to drop the link in a sec. All right. So another thing, I should have had that link ready. Got to do better, D-Ray. Got to do better. I will. I'm doing better. All right. So number 2, the second thing that I've been focusing on to deepen my trust is imprinting my heart with mantras, meditations, and messages. Okay. Imprinting my heart with mantras, meditations, and messages. All right. You know, this is so good. There's this saying, from the heart, the mouth speaks. Oh my God. From the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. What does that mean? That means whatever is imprinted on your heart, whatever belief, whatever thought process, right? Whatever faith, whatever trust or lack thereof, whatever that is what you will communicate. And we got to know that communication is not just about what you say, it's about how you live. So for me, making sure that I am imprinting on my heart all that I desire to communicate, to express, to speak, and to overflow. It says from the overflow of the heart. From the overflow of the heart. Meaning whether whether we believe it or not, what is in our heart is spilling over into every area and aspect of our lives. So what's on your heart? What's on y'all's heart right now? What's been on y'all's hearts right now? I'm going to drop that link in the chat for anybody that wants to get a consultation, specifically for the ladies. Hopefully that link works. That link looks kind of funny. For all the ladies, I just dropped the link. If you want to get a 30-minute consultation on your rebirth and your renewal, we can tap in with that. But what's been on y'all's heart? Because whatever's on your heart, that's what's spilling over. And so I want to tell y'all, I want you to understand that we create from our hearts. And if we have trust, if we have faith, if we know that everything is working out, if we know that in our hearts, that is what we will create in our reality. So being intentional about implanting certain mantras, meditations, and messages on our hearts and in our hearts, being intentional about that is important because that's what we manifest. Wow. Let me know if y'all are picking up what I'm putting down. What's on your heart right now? What is on your heart? What is of importance to you right now? I had to write down some of the mantras that I've been using, that I've been implanting on my heart. You know why the heart is so important? Is because the mind is so freaking tricky, right? And then in on the spiritual path, the mind, that's like the main conversation is the mind, the mind, the mind. But our minds are so easily influenced by things outside of ourselves, right? Which is a good thing, because we want to be influenced by things that are powerful, that are uplifting, that are of love. We want to be influenced by that. But the mind is so like wishy-washy. Y'all already know this. Y'all already know how wishy-washy the mind is. In the simplest of ways. Like, do I want to eat this? Do I want to eat this? Am I going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning? Am I not? Oh, I don't think I can wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Am I going to do that? I don't know if I could do that. Oh my God, that's the mind. So we're not focused on solely what's being imprinted on our minds, even though we have to guard our minds, right? We have to guard our minds. We have to guard what we are thinking. We have to do that. But the biggest thing is guarding our hearts, because from our hearts, everything is overflowing. And what is in our hearts is not easily moved. This is why when people struggle with forgiveness because they haven't allow themselves to feel whatever was happened to them in their lives, they'll hold on to something for forever. And it's not up here. Hear what I'm saying. The heart is the thing that speaks for us. The heart is our electromagnetic field. And so when we have trust in our hearts, that energy goes out into our life, into our engagement, and it shifts things, not our minds. When a person is struggling to forgive, logically, they know and understand the concept of them holding on to a grudge doesn't serve them. They know and understand the concept that maybe their mother, their father, their partner wasn't in the right mindset. And, you can logically understand a lot. But until that energy is imprinted on the heart, until the heart is loosened, right? Until the heart is set free, that lack of forgiveness will continue to, be a burden. So what are we imprinting on our hearts? How do we imprint things onto our hearts? Well, one, I just said mantras, messages, meditations, right? So we've heard the saying, everything is working out for me. And some of you, I'm sure you say that right now. I'm sure this is something that you tell yourself, right? But do you let it permeate your heart, or is it just mental? So how do we allow it to permeate our hearts? Well, one, we want to take those words and drop it down. They say that there's a meeting of the mind and the heart that happens in the throat. So when we say those words, we want to make sure we're feeling it. We want to make sure you're feeling it. I remember when I was getting a new job, right? I wanted a new job. At first, I was working as a PE aide, right? I was just supporting the PE teacher, barely making any money to really survive. And I wanted a new job, right? I wanted this new job. And I started saying these affirmations, right? Telling myself I was worthy enough, telling myself I was good enough, telling myself all of these things. And I said it so much that it was imprinted on my heart. So much so that I didn't have to try to think about these affirmations. I didn't have to ask myself, What was that meditation again? Because see, the mind is forgetful. The mind is forgetful. You'll come up with a fire affirmation that you want to say. You'll probably say it for a day. And then tomorrow, if the paper is not in front of you, you don't know what that affirmation said. But when it gets ingratiated in your heart, it becomes a part of you. You just know it. You just know it. And so that's what we want to do with these mantras. This is what we want to do with these mindful messages that we are trying to integrate. That everything is working out for me. Everything is working out for me. Everything is working out for me. That has to become in your heart. That has to be in your heart. So that no matter what is showing up in your life, your first response is, everything is working out for me. Everything is working out for me. So that's one of the things that I've been saying, been saying it for a while. If y'all on Patreon, y'all seen I did a video probably a month ago on Patreon talking about that, right? Everything is working out for me. Another one, I've been looking at this Bible verse, Jeremiah 29:11. And it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to bring you to an expected end." Like, that's something to hold on to. Because if we know God is love, if we know this divine part of us that dwells inside of us, if we know that God is love, then we know that the plans that God has for us is of love. We know that the expected end is of love. We know the plans to prosper us is of love. So saying an affirmation like that over and over and over again, and this is why I said mantra, meditation, message, is because you want to meditate on those words. You want to meditate on those words. So what that means is when we're meditating, this is us asking our higher selves, asking the divine, asking God, whatever term resonates with you. I'm using God because God just rolls off the tongue easier for me. When we meditate, we're asking God to reveal to us these words in action. Ugh. It's like, God, show me these words, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to bring you to an expected end. What does that look like? Me exercising that. When we meditate on words, mantras that we are ingratiating ourselves with, that we are showering ourselves with. This is something that you could do as well. You literally can visualize the frequency and the vibration of these words really encompassing you and dwelling inside of your aura. Okay? But we're meditating on it so that we can have a revelation on how to apply those words in our lives. Meditation is not just so that, you can be the Dalai Lama and have the most calm and peaceful mind, right? That's a part of it, absolutely. But it's also about, how do I apply the wisdom that I've been given? So another mantra is, be still and know. And so we'll meditate on those words. That's a mantra, be still and know. So as you're going into these different environments, you're at the job, you're dealing with your kids, you're dealing with family members, you're having some challenges in your relationship, right? It's about, how do I embody the essence of these words? Be still and know. Okay, be still and know. That means, let me not just act off of logic and reasoning. Let me not just do things because I feel like that's just, I got to do this, right? Some of y'all are already saying it. Like I saw Emma put in here, she said, doing too much, right? Being all over the place. You know, when we start to experience challenges, we start to try to do anything and everything to try to get ourselves out of that space. And it's because we're lacking trust. So be still and know, practically speaking, is to sit in the uncomfortability until you receive the divine guidance on how to move, where to go, what to do. Be still and know that you are supported even in this space of uncomfortability, right? What a beautiful thing. I remember I was in college. You know, the words depression, it didn't become a big thing until like the last couple of years, right? Or even the concept of mental health didn't become a big thing until like these last couple of years. I know for me, that's what it is. When I was in college, I had experienced a breakup, right? I experienced a breakup with my first ever real boyfriend, right? We had broken up, I want to say my junior year. And then a little bit after that or before that, around the same time, my great grandmother had passed away and we were really close. My great grandmother called me Toby, short for October. And she says I look just like my I have a great grandmother that whose name was October, who my great grandmother says I look just like. So she called me Toby for sure, but we were very close, very, very close. And so I had that breakup and she had passed away. And I was just, a young adult female with a lot of emotions and hormones and probably having a lot of spiritual experiences, but not really knowing what they were at the time. And so I remember I couldn't sleep. Y'all ever been there where you're restless? You can't sleep? You ever had challenges in your life where you're tossing and turning at night, where your mind is so active you can't rest? Thank God. I thank God now for the ability to rest my mind and to trust. See, that's the gift of trust. The gift of trust is that you get to rest. And that connects directly with the be still and know. Because stillness is about the mind, it's about the heart, it's about your entire being. At that time, that college time of mine, my mind was going 1,000 miles per hour. There was no stillness. And that lack of stillness led to insomnia. And I remember I couldn't sleep. I was missing class because I was so damn tired. And I had to see the team doctor. You know, when you play sports, there's a team doctor for at the school. So I had to see the guy. And that was the first time I actually heard somebody speak to me with words of depression. And he was like, could you be depressed? Depressed? What? What is that? I don't know what that is. So that was my first time of having that experience. And you know what? He had given me sleeping pills, right? Little blue pills, some little blue sleeping pills. And I took them for about a week. And then after that week, my body started saying, okay, we're going to rest. But one of the things that I was reminded of, and I want to say that was the spirit of my great grandmother coming through and giving me support. She told me this Bible verse. It says, peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you, right? I do not give you the peace of the world. So let your heart not be troubled and be not afraid. Y'all, I had to write that on my mirror in college when I was going through this moment of depression. I literally had to write, peace I leave with you. This peace I give unto you. This peace is not of this world. So let your heart not be troubled and be not afraid. I literally wrote that on my college mirror, right? In my college dorm room, our closet door was a big mirror, which now I see spiritually, that's probably wasn't the best thing to have a huge mirror as your door in a room. But I had that, and I literally had to write that on my mirror. And so on nights when I could not sleep, I would just look up at that and I would just say those words over and over and over again. When I would get up in the morning, if I wasn't feeling good, I would say those words over and over and over and over again. And so I had inundated myself with those words until it had permeated my heart. And then once it was so deeply ingrained in my heart, my life started to reflect this newfound peace. So when we're aiming for a deeper level of trust in ourselves, trust in the divine, trust in all things, we want to make sure that we are ingratiating ourselves day and night, meditating on this day and night on words that align with what we are needing. And you can find certain mantras, you can find certain scriptures, you can even create your own affirmation. But whatever words you are going to speak, you want to speak those things over and over and over again, because I'm telling you, it's not the things that you have in your mind that are going to create the greatest shift and transformation in your life. It's what's been imprinted on your heart. The mind is forgetful. You'll forget that mantra that you said you was going to be saying. You'll forget that affirmation, right? Because that's strictly conscious mind. We want to meditate on these things. We want to pray on these things. We want to repeat these things over and over and over again until it is ingrained in our being, until it becomes a part of us. And when it becomes a part of us, it becomes second nature. It becomes our nature. Okay? It becomes our nature within itself. All right. The last thing that I want to tell y'all about building a spiritual practice, right? To build up deep faith and knowing, trust, unshakable trust as you are moving through this life, is you want to always reflect on being victorious. You want to always reflect on being the victor. You know, so often we forget about the times we overcame. I just heard the song, Look What the Lord Has Done. Ooh, you're a miracle. If y'all don't know that song, that's called Miracle by Molly Music. You're a miracle. That's something to hold on to. You're a miracle. And if you don't know, make sure that y'all join me on Monday, 6:45 a.m. Central Standard Time, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. We're doing Miracle Mondays every Monday morning in the month of May. So 6:45 a.m., 7:45 a.m., depending on where you are. I know y'all people that's in Pacific Standard Time or Mountain Time, that's very early for y'all. But if you're up early and you need some encouragement, upliftment, support, join me on Mondays, Miracle Mondays. But you have to, I love what Vash said, hey girl, you have to take inventory of your wins. But then I'm gonna take it even further. In whatever situation you find yourself in that is challenging you, your back is up against the wall. Whatever it is, it may be your health, it may be your relationship, it may be your finances, it may be an unpleasant person at the job, whatever it is. See that situation, see yourself coming out of that situation victorious. So not only do you build up trust in yourself, trust in the divine, trust in life, trust in others, not only do you build that up through 555. Yes, yes, yes. 555 has been my number for the last few months as well. So Spirit just keeps coming through with confirmations. Thank you. So not only do you build trust by reflecting on moments where things just worked out divinely on your behalf, check. Not only do you build trust by reflecting on when You didn't think that you were qualified to get that job, but you got it. You didn't think that you were qualified you didn't think you had good enough credit to get that house or that apartment, but you got it. You didn't think that you were going to be able to afford that car, but you did. You didn't think that whatever the doctor said was going to resolve on its own, but it did. You didn't think that you were going to heal in that relationship, but y'all did. You reflect on those moments, right? You reflect on those moments. You sit in those moments. You allow those moments to fill up your being. But then taking it even a step further, whatever thing has been challenging your trust, your faith, sit in that thing. Sit in it. But as you sit in it, you see yourself through to be successful. You see yourself winning. You see yourself overcoming it. You see yourself coming through it. You see it being resolved. You see yourself on the other side of it. A lot of times we don't want to look at the struggle aspect of life. We would rather kind of turn a blind eye. But the back of our minds is still battling with that thing, right? There's something inside that is still afraid of that experience, whatever it may be. So instead of not facing it, let's face it. Let's face it. Let's look at it. Let's feel the fear. Let's experience the fear. But as we sit in that, the end goal is to see yourself come through it. See yourself overcome it. Right? See yourself on the other side of it. So yes, it starts off scary. It starts off anxious. It starts off like, oh God, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Right? But as you are visualizing this, as you are meditating on this, you're also asking the divine, show me how to get through this. Show me how to overcome this. You know what happens when we do that is we strip the fear of its power. Now we're no longer afraid because either way, you're good. That bill don't get paid, still good. The relationship don't work out, still good. The job don't come through and say, we want to offer you the position, still good. See, that's the level of trust that we have to get to. That no matter what the end result may be, you're still good because God is love and God is in you. And everything is truly working out for your highest good. So these are the things that I've been doing, sitting with right now when it comes to building up trust. It's just all about living in love. It's all about meditating on how you want to feel, what you desire to feel. And it's all about truly knowing that no matter what the situation or circumstance is, you are well. And that's how trust is built. And it takes practice. Practice. It's not a one and done type thing. This is something that we have to commit ourselves to. And that's where trust comes in. Trust is about commitment. You got to commit to it. Ashe. Thank you, Spirit. You got to commit to the work. Commit to the work. All right. So I want to tell y'all one more time, if you are needing help, right? If you are in a space right now in your life where you're like, you're wanting a rebirth, you're wanting a renewal, you're seeing yourself be somewhere else, but you need support and guidance on how to take that next step. Listen, I'm here to support you if it's healing your mind, your body, your spirit, your emotions. I'm here if it's in your relationship. If you're having a relationship challenge and you're like, I'm ready for us to be renewed. I'm ready to be renewed so that my relationship is renewed. I'm here for it. If you are in a space where you're like, I got this business idea, I got this passion, I know who I'm meant to be, I know what I want to do, but I'm coming up against some fear or some anxiety, some imposter syndrome. I'm not feeling confident in embracing this new step in my life. I'm here for it. If you are needing to tap into your womb healing, your divine feminine energy, I'm here for it. All you got to do is hit the link. This offer, I'm probably going to end it on Mother's Day. Okay, so probably Sunday. So you probably have from now until Sunday to be able to tap in with that. It's a 30-minute consultation at a very, oh my God, it's a steal. Okay, it's a steal. Before I go, are there any questions? I just realized this about myself, that answering questions is good for me. I love it. Like, answering questions is where a lot of my downloads and channels come through. So if there's any questions, let me scroll back up to see. I would love to answer some questions regarding trust, regarding faith, regarding growth. Um, I'm here for that. I see all of y'all. Some of y'all came in. I didn't get to say hey, but hey to all of y'all who have come in. Yes. I am so grateful to have y'all here. Thank y'all for being a part of the family. Um, yes, I am a projector, a human design projector. And what that means is I see the world in a way, um, where the goal is just to make the world a better place, right? Where the goal is to show people that there is a better way to do something, right? That's what projectors do. Projectors can observe things and project a better, healthier, a more holistic way of living, right? And then I'm glad that you brought the projector thing up, because when you are a projector, when people ask you questions, that is them inviting your insight, your mind into the space. And as a projector, when you get asked a question, that's when your best stuff comes to life. So for those of you who booked the consultations, I see some of y'all already booked it. I'm excited to talk to y'all. When you book the consultation, have you some questions ready for your girl, because if you have questions, I'm going to be able to tap into a deep reservoir of divine wisdom, right? And it's not my wisdom, it's just access that I've been granted, right? Access that I've been granted by the divine. Okay. But I'm glad you asked that question, because that makes sense, and I totally forgot about that. That's how that human design stuff works. Okay, alrighty. Um, Not seeing any questions right now, so I will see y'all later. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see the rest of y'all in y'all's consultations, and we'll be chatting soon. Enjoy. Peace.